CBS News congressional correspondent Kris Van Cleave joins me now from Capitol Hill. Hi, Kris. Great to see you. So the House Judiciary Subcommittee on the Constitution, Civil Rights, and Civil Liberties is holding a hearing today on violence against Asian Americans. Lawmakers are among those who have testified based on their own experiences. So let's listen to Democratic Senator Tammy Duckworth and Republican Representative Young Kim on this issue.
There's nothing we can say today that will piece back together the shattered lives of the victims' loved ones. There's nothing we can do that will give them the solace they deserve, nothing we can provide that will even begin to make sense of this senseless tragedy. But what we can say, and should say clearly, unambiguously, is that blaming the AAPI community for a public health crisis is racist and wrong.
The hate, the bias, and the attacks that we've seen against the Asian American community are unacceptable, and they must be stopped. This is wrong, and it has no place in our political discourse, and it's contrary to the values that America stands for.
Kris, very powerful words there from two powerful lawmakers. What are some of the other stories that we've heard from speakers, and what is the goal of this hearing?
So you heard from a panel of lawmakers and then a panel of experts. The lawmakers talked about some truly horrifying crimes that have happened in their home states targeting Asian Americans. There have been several deaths related to attacks that seemingly occurred purely because the person was an Asian American, as well as the lawmakers talking about their own experiences and their families' experiences, in some cases going back to the World War II internment of Japanese Americans. Congressman Meng from New York, Grace Meng, got emotional in talking about her frustration with the issue, as well as her frustration with some Republican lawmakers and the rhetoric they are still using surrounding the coronavirus. Take a listen.
I want to go back to something that Mr. Roy said earlier. Your president and your party and your colleagues can talk about issues with any other country that you want. But you don't have to do it by putting a bullseye on the back of Asian Americans across this country, on our grandparents, on our kids. This hearing was to address the hurt and pain of our community and to find solutions, and we will not let you take our voice away from us.
So you can see there was some charged emotions there, and a number of the panelists criticized Republicans and President Trump for rhetoric around the coronavirus that they say was blatantly racist and has helped encourage the anti-Asian sentiment that is translating into thousands of incidents that they're classifying as forms of hate, be it verbal attacks, physical attacks, thousands of them since the beginning of the coronavirus.
And Kris, some lawmakers are taking action, introducing bills addressing the rise in attacks against Asian Americans. Representative Meng and Senator Mazie Hirono of Hawaii have written legislation to tackle hate crimes. Tell us more about what this legislation would do, and is it your sense that Congress will be able to reach a bipartisan consensus on how to address these hate crimes?
So that piece of legislation is essentially aimed at information gathering more than anything else. It would designate a DOJ official to do an expedited review of COVID-19 related hate crimes reported federal, state, and locally. From there, it would be to provide guidance to state and local law enforcement about the issue, the scope of the problem, as well as issue guidance on how to try to mitigate some of the racially discriminatory language that has been being used during the coronavirus period here. That's not a particularly controversial measure, so certainly it is possible that it could pass. Getting consensus in the United States Senate to get 60 votes, which would mean 10 Republicans to agree with all 50 Democrats, is never easy. But certainly as these incidents continue to happen and the outrage grows over these types of attacks, it does make it an issue that you would think there could be some agreement on.
Kris Van Cleave on Capitol Hill, thank you so much.
Sure thing.